This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9, and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things, those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles, and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well, who I learned this truth from, and peace and salutations to the elect scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth that's pushing this truth and sincerity and meekness without wavering, as well as risking their lives of freedom to do so. This is your brother ICR from the GMS Cleveland Church, back with another lesson, and Lord willing, it be edifying to one of the Lord's elect. And it says, scripture say, measure thou the time diligently. Okay, which when you're going to measuring, okay, pretty much, how do we measure the scriptures? How do we measure the scriptures? You link it up with the news, prophecy. Okay, you see what's going on in the world as the angel told Esdras. Okay, you see uproars of the people in the world. Okay, and this is the time we're in. Okay, you see a lot of uproars of the people coming up against the establishments, the powers that be in their country. Okay, because of the wickedness, the oppression. Okay, and the confusion that's going on. All right. You have never seen anything like this ever before in world history, where everybody is going up against their nations, okay, because of the wickedness that they're doing, okay. And the Lord said this is gonna be a signs. This is a part of the signs, okay, of the end. All right. And I got this video from Kim Iverson. It says massive farmers protest all across Europe. Explain. Okay, we know that America, okay, gets a lot of imports from from Europe. Okay, crops, food, clothing, whatever, whatever it may be. Okay, and this is why America is described as a merchant city according to Revelation 18. Okay, this is that place because America used to export a lot of stuff. Okay, when it was early in the early 1900s, late 1800s. Okay, but as America grew, okay, it became more lazy. Okay, they didn't really, as far as growing crops. Okay, they put down the they put down the plowshare and the pruning hooks. Okay, and they had all the other nations uh bringing bringing over their the food. Okay, and even have fertilizer that comes from, I believe it's Ukraine or okay, and Russia. Okay, but we know that those things have completely come to an end. Okay, which I believe they have. America doesn't receive any fertilizer imports anymore. That's why they're pushing, 3D meats, okay, Beyond Meats, and all these other concocted uh food replacements. Okay, and you Americans, you Babylonians, okay, you have no idea what's going on overseas because you saw Edom's mainstream media doesn't uh, tell you what's going on in the world. He tells you what he wants you to believe. Okay, and we know that the scriptures talk prophesied about famines. Okay, and this video is pretty much gonna go into it of what's going on over there in Europe. We're not gonna watch the whole video. We're gonna stop at the specific part that that kind of hit my spirit to do this lesson that I'm gonna close out right there. So listen up.
So we have a lot to talk about with things going on over there in Europe and in Ireland, the farmers' protests, the hate speech laws in Ireland. Things are kind of wild. I'm seeing that the farmers' protests are escalating lately in France. They've really have been raging strong there, which I expect the French to always. They really the French and the Irish. I feel like the two of you guys protest, and when you do,
Now the French is part of the NATO and the EU, which is also known as the beast in the scriptures in the book of Revelation. Okay, if you gotta have discernment and what context is pretty much used. Okay, but yeah, the French are rising up against their establishments, man. Okay, and why is that? Well, it's all because of America. Okay, America is behind all this chaos that's going out throughout the four corners of the planet Earth. It said the scriptures call it. It says he shall go into perdition. Okay, and I believe that's Revelation the 17th chapter. Okay, the eighth head. Okay, which is America. Okay, and perdition means destruction. Okay, and America has been destroying and destroying the 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 world. Okay, and its people ever since it came into ever since it's been established. Okay, okay, to the point where Germany was getting natural gas through a pipeline from Germany to Russia, if I'm not mistaken, called the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And the good old America traveled thousands of miles over by boat, okay, by ship, and destroyed the pipeline to the point where their own allies, Germany, their own civilians were freezing to death in those winters, okay, as well as some other parts of Europe as well. You see, America is behind its own destruction, okay, which America is ran by who? Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, okay, as well as Europe and those NATO nations are also ruled by Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, okay, and this is their downfall. We're seeing it right before where which what was prophesied in the scriptures, okay, about Esau's fall. We're seeing it right before our eyes, man. Okay, so I'm gonna go back.
like real protesting. It's not for the faint of heart. But I mean, I watched the French protesters building a wall, like trying to blockade in their politicians. They're just going crazy. Can you explain to us? We've seen the farmers' protest spread throughout all of Europe now. What is and this we saw in Netherlands, the farmers there were protesting a couple of years ago, so now it's ramped up. Can you explain kind of the backstory of how these protests got going? Why are they protesting?
Yeah, sure, Kim. Well, in a nutshell, they're protesting because they're finally getting it, if you will. So I think there's a lot of awakening around the world since COVID, especially, and the climate stuff that's going on, and the trans and all that stuff. It's all connected to Agenda 2030, the UN goals, WEF, etc. So we know that. But the farmers are beginning to realize.
Now I'm gonna rewind a little bit of what he said because he mentioned the 2030 agenda, which was look it up yourself. Okay. Well, I'm gonna explain a little bit of it. 2030 agenda pretty much mean you will own nothing and be happy. Okay, you're gonna you're gonna be renting everything. Okay, literally you will own nothing. Okay, you will be eating 3D meats. Okay, fake food. Okay, also with a mark of the beast, which is the chip. You will have a chip inside you as well. That's Agenda 2030. Okay.
Explain to us. We've seen the farmers' protest spread throughout all of Europe now. What is and this we saw in Netherlands, the farmers there were protesting a couple of years ago, so now it's ramped up. Can you explain kind of the backstory of how these protests got going? Why are they protesting?
Yeah, sure, Kim. Well, in a nutshell, they're protesting because they're finally getting it, if you will. So I think there's a lot of awakening around the world since COVID, especially, and the climate stuff that's going on, and the trans and all that stuff. It's all connected to Agenda 2030, the UN goals, WEF, etc. So we know that. But the farmers are beginning to realize, like a lot of people, okay, this is an orchestrated campaign to kind of almost eliminate us and to replace local farming, healthy foods locally, in local communities, to replace that with a kind of a massive pipeline of ultra processed food from the big corporations. And, you will eat the bugs and all that nonsense. So
Hmm.
they actually realize now that it's not just the usual to and fro with governments, where the governments put in extra taxes and diesel taxes, etc., and they fight back a little, and then they get a bit of a kind of the backing off by the government. I think they know now, because they're not accepting any of these little ploys to give them a break for 12 months. The farmers actually realize this is an end game of sorts, and that now is the time to dig in and stand, or there won't be anything to stand for. So yeah, Netherlands was nitrogen was the excuse used.
Yeah.
They used the nitrogen, climate, ecosystem stuff. If you look at the actual data for the Netherlands, they leveled off on their nitrogen in organic kind of rivers, etc., back in, I think, 2015, and it's
See, everything that Esau is banning, okay, it's pretty much everything that Esau is these laws, okay, because that's what he said. He talked about the nitrous, all those things that Esau those that he's outlawing is detriment to society, okay, especially farmers, because you need those things to till to help with the crops. Okay, let me grab this real quick. This is the book of Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, which a decree is the law, and that right grievance which they have prescribed. Okay, the point is what? Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. Okay, what Esau is doing. Okay, he's coming up with laws. Okay, that's pretty much ushering in this famine. Okay, he's coming up with laws against the farmers. Or your cows are producing too much CO2 emissions. Okay, you gotta kill them off. Okay, oh your vegetables. Okay, your crops are giving us too much CO2s. Okay, let's go back and make up a law. Cause which is climate change. So okay, we have to destroy that so we can save the earth. Okay, this man is the devil, man. Okay, hey, he's even paying off some of these farmers in the U.S., if not majority of them. He's paying most of them off to to destroy their crops, man. Okay, and this is once again this is gonna usher in a famine. The Lord said He was gonna send famine upon the place of the earth, upon the four corners of the earth. Okay, a famine doesn't mean a complete emptiness of food. No, it means a scarcity. Okay, what you're gonna find food within these cities that's populated. Okay, because there will be a lot. In order to survive, you will have to be in a designated area. Okay, that's going to be controlled. Okay, by the you know by the powers that be, which are 15-minute cities. Man, that's their whole plan, to have you in 15-minute cities. Okay, with a chip in your brain or in your head, and having you control and eating Lord knows what. Okay, fake food, man. Okay, this is the mindset of Esau. All right, and a lot of people gonna comply with that, man, because they're gonna be without food. Okay, so they're gonna come to the breaking point. Okay, before they eat themselves alive or eat the children, they're just gonna submit to Esau and rather eat fake food in order to survive, man, with a chip inside you. Okay, this is what's coming on the planet Earth, man.
slowly fallen and everything is kind of under control. But the government, of course, is using the nitrogen as an excuse to implement agendas and goals. Climate is always just an excuse, if people keep that in mind. And in France, they've used other levies and taxes. And in Ireland, they're trying to suggest leaked memos from the department suggested they'd like to cull 200,000 cows. And now it
Call means to kill 200,000 cows. Now, where are you gonna get your beef from? Your steak? Okay, you know. Hey, this man is a fucking devil, man. Okay, he's gonna once again he's gonna come up with laws like it says once again. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, the decrees of the law, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Prescribed means to write before. Okay, and Esau's laws are grievous, man. Okay, and he's coming up with laws in order to kill 200,000 cows, man. How many people does that feed? Okay, you have to question these things, man. Okay, this man is not right, man. Scripture say he is as death. Okay, and I'm gonna go to Revelation 6. I'm gonna get it in a blue letter. Revelation 6, verse 3. Okay, and as you see, it says the third seal, which is famine. Okay, and this is man, this is the seal we're in, man. Okay, Revelation 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And beheld, and I beheld, and lo, a black horse. Okay, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hands. All right, now when you go into the word balance, goes back to the Greek word zugos. Okay, let's check it out real quick. All right, man, Satan is messing with my phone, man. It says zugos, a yoke that is put on drought cattle, metaphor used of any burden or bondage as that of slavery, a balance, a pair of scales, man. Right? Okay, because that's what the Heavenly Father is bringing. He's bringing balance. Okay, and how does balance come? With judgment. Okay, and that also goes into how a pair of balances in his hands because the tribe of Judah. Okay, was as well as the Northern Kingdom. Okay, Israel, which represent the Hispanics, Native Americans. Okay, and Judah represents Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. Okay, that balance, you had a yoke of iron put around your neck and was sent into captivity, man. Okay, and we're gonna put those same yokes on our enemies, man, specifically the Edomites, so-called white man. Why? Because he is the devil, man. He's gonna have to. We're gonna receive recompense upon our enemies, man. And this is the point. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, which a penny is a denarion, which a day's wages was worth 10 asses." Okay, it says a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou harden not the oil and the wine. I'm gonna go into this word penny real quick. Denarion. It says containing 10. Okay, a Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It took its name from being equal to 10 asses to a number after 217 BC. Right. So, and that was an expensive item back then. 10 asses for a day's worth of wage. Okay. It says a measure of wheat for a penny. Okay. So a measure of wheat for 10 asses. Okay. Which once again, 10 asses was it was real valuable back in the day. And 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine, which is this truth. Okay, because this truth will go out. Okay, until the Lord returns. I'm gonna get this in the NLT. It says, and I heard a voice from among the four living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay, and don't waste the olive oil and wine. Right? Okay, it says will cost a day's pay, man. Why? This is biblical prophecy, man. Okay, goes into hyperinflation because America will experience hyperinflation to where your food, okay, bread, okay, whatever imports that America gets, okay, is going to be at a sky high rate to the point where you're not able to afford it. Okay, get back into this.
It wasn't an announcement or a stipulation. The fact checkers blowed on about that it was not actually an announcement, but it's irrelevant. It was all written down in department documents. That's what they want. So all of this climate nonsense is basically to disenfranchise farmers and all of us, but
Hmm.
particularly farmers. The goal is quite simple. It's to steadily remove and erode local subsistence, local supply of food, and replace it with globalized international supplies of food. And in the same way, they don't want really a lot of local power generation from local resources. They've been eliminating all those in Ireland. They want the power to be kind of a weapon that you're dependent on the power grid. Electric cars are the same. The actual equation for the benefits of electric cars, if you take in the environmental impact of all the batteries and all the minerals, is absurd, right?
Yeah.
This has been said by senior members of even government.
And this is Esau. Okay, this is him ushering in his beast system. Okay, fake food is a part of the beast system, man. No farmers is part of the beast system. Okay, he said he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Okay, Esau's gonna have complete power over everything. Okay, in the times to come, man. Okay, that's why I say he calls it all. Okay, he's gonna have complete control. Okay, and food is food. A food. I forgot who said that. Uh, but if you can control food, you control a lot of. You can control the nation too. Okay, but I believe one of Rothschild said, uh, "Give me the money. I care not who makes the laws." Okay, if I'm not mistaken. But also somebody said if you can control the food, you can control you have power, man. Okay, Esau is about to have the ultimate power, not for long though, just for a while, because the Lord is gonna come back and destroy Esau Edom system, man.
In various places. So the idea is to get people dependent on electrical supply, whereas locally provided or stored diesel gives people independence. So everything
Right.
is moving towards remorselessly crushing countries' sovereignty and their nationalist ideals and their local self sufficiency, and move towards the classic 15-minute city. You'll own nothing and be happy, and we'll provide your food and your power until you say something negative against the government.
Right.
And then we'll have to look again.
Yeah, I mean, they have to figure out ways to control the people, and the ways to control is certainly our livelihoods, certainly our ability to survive, right? And that's our money, debanking people, to cutting off food supply, cutting off power, cutting off communication, and so gaining control over these things, would be the way to do it. But the thing that is really interesting about Europe in particular, and the current farming issue and the current issue around food is a couple of things. First of all, I've lived in Europe a couple of times, in France and in Italy. And the food there is very different than here in the United States. Here in the US, I think we get a lot of big corporate farming. We get all the GMOs in the food, we get all the modified stuff. And our food lasts a really long time. I could go to the grocery store here in the United States once every 2 weeks, and the food just doesn't ever spoil. In Europe, when I was there, I had to go grocery shopping practically every day. The food spoils very quickly because it's not processed with and not enhanced with all of these various things that they do to our.
You see, this, hey, I'm gonna grab a precept because a lot of you people here, you believe that you're eating the best of the best. No, you're actually eating defiled food, man. Okay, hey, she said a lot of food. She has to go shopping every day because the food, because the food spoils, man. But meanwhile, in America, the food lasts for days and days. Okay, I believe it. One of the elder bishops said, bread is supposed to only last a day, but it takes shit 2 weeks, even up more than that for bread to spoil, man. Okay, we don't know what the hell we eating, man. And this is prophecy. Okay, this is Ezekiel 4:13, and the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai said, even thus shall the children of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, Seminole, Native American Indians, eat their bread. It shall eat their defiled bread amongst the Gentiles. Whither I will drive them. Who the Gentiles? These heathen nations. Okay, and we know America is a melting pot, which consists of all nations. Okay, and we're here eating defiled bread. Okay, and we don't know what the hell we eating, man. Okay, and it's by the Lord's mercy that we are not destroyed, man. Because you know Esau, whatever he has his hands on, it turns to death, man. Okay.
Our food here in the United States. It's probably also why Americans are bigger and fatter. I think the hormones and the stuff that they stick in our food versus Europeans. And I say that because my family's from Vietnam. My cousins that were born here in the United States and raised here with both Vietnamese parents. I'm half white, but like my cousins are big, and I look at that.
There's no such thing as half white, okay, or half black. The Lord created, hey, you are what your father is. Read Numbers 1:18.
And I'm like, there's no way genetically they're supposed to be this tall and big when they have these two tiny little Vietnamese parents, right? So I think the food is hormone laden and all kinds of stuff here in the United States. I didn't really get that sense over in Europe. So it's interesting, first of all, I mean, I'm just curious, are the people in
And then a lot of these products here in America, if you read the labels and compare it to European labels, the European labels has less more ingredients. Okay, and America has way more, and a lot of those ingredients that America has in its products, they are also in their chemicals, man. All right, now that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to say too much. Okay, but the scriptures say he is as death, man.
throughout Europe, in the UK, and Ireland, are people concerned that moving in this direction? It's not so just taking the farmers and their issues out of it just for a second, and their issues with not making, they're barely holding on financially, and then these new policies are crushing them and all this. So taking that aside, are the people concerned that going to these big farming practices, corporate farming, global farming, that is going to create food like the United States and start feeding it to you? I mean, if I were European or anywhere on that continent, I would be like, no way, I do not want America. I mean, it tastes like when I came back, every time I'd come back after living periods of time in Europe and I'd come back to the United States, the food tastes like plastic here.
Yeah.
I mean, it just isn't good. So are people concerned about that just from a basic person to person level?
Yeah, I think the problem, Kim, is that the majority, sadly, and we saw it through COVID, they don't really think much. So critical thinking and analytics and analytical thinking in the last 40, 50 years, especially since the end of World War II, a few generations have passed and people have become kind of dumb. Now, of course, it takes 20,000 years in an evolutionary cycle to really change a species at all. So it's not like any of this obesity or this
Esau is just pulling bullshit out of his ass. I'm gonna try to skip through a little bit.
of critical thinking is in any way. The food will continue to be supplied in thousands of a lower amount of high quality food, amazing though
Right.
that is. And essentially, I say with food, the simplest possible thing I can say after 10 years and thousands of published papers analyzed, and the book we released in 2017, the simplest thing you can say is if you just eat meat, fish, and eggs and kind of above ground vegetables that are not starchy, like potatoes and all that kind of thing are very starchy, full of sugar. But if you just eat meat, fish, and eggs and vegetables, tomorrow morning, if that's all people ate, most of pharma would collapse within a few years, the pharma companies, because they're built on statins and antihypertensives, anti-blood pressure drugs. That would just fall off the map if people could only eat meat, fish, and eggs. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can say, well, what's the real problem? The real problem is what you mentioned. It's ultra-processed foods. They're long shelf life. They're internationalized. They've got amazing supply chains that make big food business.
Right, food is internationalized. How do you transport food from from ship from ship to land and it doesn't get spoiled, man? You see, you have to question these things. Okay, that's how you know. Hey, the Lord said we was gonna eat our bread defiled, man. Okay, because it takes time for a ship to get from Europe to America and wherever it has to go. Okay, and you think that food is just still fresh, huh?
business, make a ton of money, and they're junk. And British Medical Journal a few years ago looked and were shocked to see that under the category of ultra processed foods, which we know cause the modern chronic disease, diabetes type 2, obesity, Alzheimer's, which is now called diabetes type 3, right? Because it's diabetes off the neurological circuits.
Wow.
The BMJ found that over 60% of all calories consumed in the UK are from ultra processed foods. And Ireland's not much better, and America's worse. And they contain what I call the devil's triad. So we keep it really simple for people. What is the root of the modern chronic disease epidemics? It's sugar, refined carbs, refined grains, and vegetable oils, the heart-healthy vegetable oils, which are the opposite. Those three components, I call the devil's triad, they make up most of the calories in ultra-processed food. And that's what makes the food bad, is the devil's triad. If you eliminate that triad, and you have to, of course, eliminate most of what's in the supermarket because it's all ultra-processed, you're left with meat, fish, and eggs and vegetables and what we ate, say, 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. And that's how simple it is. Now, I know we mentioned psychologically there's an addictive nature to this food, so it's not as simple as just flicking a switch, because the temptation to eat the ultra-processed stuff is enormous. And I know we wrote a chapter on that in our book, just the psychology. It's tricky.
Well, it's very addicting. Carbs are very addicting. Sugars are very addicting. Oils are very addicting, right? All of it is delicious and addicting. That's kind of the point of it. So I'm interested, though, so point one with the farmers' protest, kind of circling back to this, the first thing is I'm curious why people in Europe aren't looking at the United States and saying, I don't want that. I don't want that kind of food. So we need to stick to, I read a stat that I think in Europe, the family farms are still like 95% of the farms over there. It's still just a massive, massive number, which is why I feel like Europe is being targeted. The farmers are being targeted there. Here in the United States, we have a lot more corporate farming. So, and we're already really reliant on international food and even just other countries.
Hey, we're relying on international food, man. Okay, so with these farmers going up against farmers protesting all across Europe. Okay, where you gonna get your food, man? Okay, hey, the Lord said in 2 15, right? 2 15, and 215 and 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right, famine. The Lord is sending this, man. The Lord is behind all these judgments. It says, our power is the power of judgment, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. Hey, this is all the Lord, man. Okay. And this is the Lord bringing judgment. Okay. He's bringing a balance upon the planet Earth. Okay. Because the time of the Israelites, okay, we had to receive judgment. Okay. Now the nations, according to Deuteronomy 30 and 7, are facing these judgments too, which a judgment that we faced on multiple occasions was famine. Okay, as a nation back in our homeland, we faced famine. Okay, but now the Lord is bringing famine across the whole four corners of the planet Earth because the Israelites are scattered amongst the four corners of the planet Earth. Okay, and this famine is gonna be a part of Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, because hey, we're gonna have to depend on the Lord so much. Okay, because food will be scarce. Okay.
Countries owning our farmlands. But in Europe, I think it's different. And so we're not seeing the uprising on farmers here because they've already been attacked. They've already been obliterated. They're already barely hanging on here in the United States. And in Europe, there's a lot more of those family farms. And it seems that they're now really massively under attack and trying to eliminate them by making it incredibly difficult to make a living as a farmer, to where then farmers just stop farming. I know I come from a farming family. My family owned farms forever. It was my father sold the farm, but my grandfather, his father, ultimately worked on the farm for a while and then just decided, I can't farm anymore. It's too difficult. There's no real profit in it. And he became a trucker rather than a farmer, and kept the family farm going, but rented out the farm, and then my dad ultimately sold it. But that's what happens in families now. Families are stopping. The farming it's no longer a business that's worth keeping in the family, that is going to be beneficial for the family. It's a stress and it's a headache and it's hard more than anything. And that is there's no profit in it. And my family would tell me stories of how my grandparents would struggle as they were farming, and my great grandparents would struggle, and they came from Denmark and they started the farm here. Um, so in Europe, it just seems like this is happening. I would think that the people are really upset about that. Secondly, what I find really interesting, but like you said, maybe they're just not thinking that way. They're not realizing they're going to end up with just a bunch of junk food if they go down this path, which they should be thinking ahead about. The other thing I find interesting about this, though, is why would the European leadership want to be reliant on global food production when they have done everything they possibly can to cut off anything from Russia, for example? Like, you go to war with a country and suddenly or you're backing a certain country in a war, and suddenly you cut off the grain, you cut off like the fuel, or the gas lines, you cut off everything. I would think that the war, if anything, would have made people, and the pandemic, both of those combined, would make people realize we have to be reliant on ourselves. Isn't this odd that they're now wanting to shift to this global, after being like, oh, and then we have to cut everything off and all the rates of energy goes way up? And I mean, it just seems insane.
It does seem insane, and that's what makes it hard for a lot of average people. They know something's seriously wrong, as you describe, but they can't quite put their finger on it, and people have been programmed for decades.
Well, they can't put the finger on it because the Lord is not dealing with the whole world. He's dealing with the prophets, the elect. Okay, 144,000, as well as the 1/3 here in America, Babylon the Great, but as well as those scattered amongst the heathen. Okay, we're the only ones, and Lord willing, we are that number. We're the only ones to understand what's going on, man. This is the Lord's doing. Okay, He's using Esau to pretty much box in humanity. Okay, to a tipping to be tested. Okay, to see if they're gonna worship him. And how do you worship Esau? Well, how do you worship any god? Okay, you bow down to him. Okay, and that's what Esau wants. He wants you to bow down to him and make a covenant with him, which is taking that chip. Okay, because it is famine. Famine is, 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 is no joke. It's no joke, man. Okay, people will do. Food is gonna be worth more than gold, man. Okay, because you need food to survive, man. We know that a lot of you Babylonians, you waste more food than any country on the planet Earth. Okay, this is why the Lord is stripping you, stripping the food from you, man. Okay, because you don't glean. Okay, you overeat. Okay, so this is the balances in his hands, man. All right. And this is really targeted at you Israelites, man, because the Lord said He was gonna send scourges for amendment. A scourge is a correcting tool. Okay, and amendment means correction. Okay, and once again, this is the Lord trying to get you Israelites in order, man. Okay, in Isaiah 3, it goes into the times we're in. Okay, and it's leading up. It leads up to Isaiah 4:1, which you know is gonna happen on this side. Okay, this is Isaiah 3:1. For behold, the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh the Lord of hosts meaning armies, Tazabawath, doeth take away from Jerusalem, right, the northern kingdom, and Judah, the southern kingdom, the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water. The Lord is pretty much going to take away your food, man. Okay, your water. Okay, I'm gonna see what it says in the NLT. This is the book of Isaiah 3:1 in the NLT. The Lord of heaven's armies, will take away from Jerusalem and Judah everything they depend on, every bit of bread and every drop of water, man. All right, this is what the Lord is sending, man. Okay, and we know that here in America you have something called the FDA, which means Food and Drugs Administration. Which why are those two mentioned in the same name in the same sentence? We know why. Okay, we're not gonna say much, but this food is it has a lot of concoctions inside of it. Okay, to the point where it makes Jake addicted to it. Okay, as well as the rest of these people. Okay, and without it, people are gonna go through what? They're gonna go through withdrawals. Okay, with which withdrawals? Okay, once you say for instance you're a recovering addict. Okay, you have a withdrawal. Okay, which let's see what withdrawal if they have it in the Edamon. Okay, because withdrawal, you pretty much, it says act of taking back, retraction of a statement, physical reaction to the cessation of an addiction. Okay, see what this is. It says cessation of fact or process of ending or being brought to an end. Right, a physical reaction to the ending of an addictive substance. Okay, and what's that physical reaction? Okay, you hey, people get to tweaking out, man. Okay, you get to tweaking out, going cold turkey, and they start getting possessed by demons, man. Okay, That's what you're gonna see when Jake. When a lot of people don't have these foods, they're gonna turn into demons, man. All right, and they're gonna do whatever they gotta do to fulfill their desires, man. Okay, even if it's eating your own child, like the scriptures say. Okay, because uh cannibalism is coming back in a huge way, man. All right, just like it did to the northern, not the northern, but the southern kingdom. Okay, Judah in 64 through 70 AD, 73 AD. Okay, when the city was sieged, okay, by the Romans, which were Edomites, which are so-called white people. Uh, they sieged Judah, okay, which means they surrounded them and they cut off the water supplies and the cattle, okay, and some of them starved to death, some of them ate others to survive, man. A lot of you women gonna be eating your own children, okay, in order to survive, man. Okay, just like the scriptures talk about, man. All right.
To think of anything with high level power structures orchestrating the stuff, people have been programmed to think of that as a conspiracy theory. And that they've done a great job on that. So traditionally, like 50, 60 years ago, I often make this point. Uh, People were concerned and feared centralized power up top orchestrating their lives. That was people's natural distrusting kind of feeling. But now they've managed to make it that someone who actually distrusts the top level, you call them a conspiracy theorist. So people distrust the person who distrusts the top level,
Right.
which is complete inversion. It's insane, but that's what they have. And I interviewed Professor Richard Werner, who about CBDCs, which is a
Yeah, he's
similar
great.
problem
He's
coming.
great. Yeah. Yeah.
Great guy.
Real
But
smart. Yeah.
oh, he's great. But he told me a couple of things, and one of them is relevant to what you asked, very much so. So he told me something I wasn't fully aware of. He said, the European system for the last 20, 30 years, and now it's heading straight to authoritarian insanity, as you described. It's got like the European kind of Commission, which is unelected, and they set all the rules and strategies. And they have a European Parliament, which theoretically debates the laws, but they don't make the laws, and it's a talk shop. Now, he said, what is that an exact mirror of? And it's the Soviet system.
Yeah.
So Soviet Russia had the Politburo, the top party guys, and they decided what was going to happen. And there was a Soviet.
And that's pretty much it. I don't want to draw this out, but yeah, the Lord is sending famine, man. Okay, and this is for you Israelites, man. Okay, and who's gonna be redeemed out of this famine, man? All right, only the righteous. Okay, which is gonna be scarce. All right. Uh, this is the book. I believe it's the 14th chapter. Yeah, this is it. Right, only the righteous is gonna be. It says the righteous shall scarcely be saved, man. Okay, from the Lord's judgment. All right, because yeah, the elect are gonna have to go through this famine too. But the Lord said, "My servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry." Okay, the Lord is gonna provide for the elect, but it's gonna take faith to believe that. because you will have to go days without food, man. You're not just gonna be eating every day of Jacob's trouble. No, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. You might, you might have to. Not might, but you will. You will be, without food, man. Okay. So it's good to, and we know that without food, Satan, you're going on the fast, you haven't ate or drank in days. What happened with Yahweh Shah? Okay, when he went on that fast, Satan entered into him, into his mind, and tried to tempt him. Okay, now they're talking about the spiritual demon Satan. He tempted Yahweh Shah. He said, "Make this rock bread," roughly paraphrase. Okay, so Satan is going to tempt us in these times to come. This is Ezekiel 14:12. It says, "The word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua came again unto me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously," right? And that land is talking about Jerusalem, okay, Israel, okay. How do we trespass against the Lord? By worshiping other gods and breaking his commandments, okay. That's trespassing grievously, okay. That's sin, okay. It says, "Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously," right? But now this is spiritually talk about America, okay? Because America calls it the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, okay? America pushes out. It says, "Then that man of sin shall be revealed." That man of sin being revealed was here in America. Who's the man of sin? Esau, even a self-proclaimed white man. It says, and this land is full of sin. Okay, this is why they called it Sodom and Egypt. Okay, Sodom known for is a man on man activity and women on women activity. And Egypt known for slavery, man. Okay, unjust slavery at that. So this is a land that sinneth against the Heavenly Father, man. It says, "Then will I stretch out my hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it." Okay, so this is what the Lord is doing. Okay, he's sending a famine upon it, and he's breaking the staff of the bread. Okay, and he's gonna cut off man and beast from it. Okay, and that's the end goal of America, Babylon, and Greek. It says, "Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they shall deliver but their own souls by their righteousness," said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So only the elect, okay, are gonna be delivered through these perils, man. Okay, because without food, okay, there's gonna be a lot of breaking and entering. Okay, for the lack of goods, man. Okay, and the elect will scarcely be saved out of these things, man. I'm gonna just put lack, right, which comes up 87 times. But I'm gonna deal with the prophetic scriptures. This is the book of Second Esdras, and I'm gonna start at 14. Second Esdras 15 and 14. "Woe to the world, okay, or commanding, meaning whole inhabited earth, and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." Right? Now that sword can be literal, or it could be talking about a gun. Okay. And this was coming upon the four corners of the planet Earth, man. Okay, we see the uprisings against governments. Okay, but soon there's going to be more than just uprisings, it's going to be bloodshed. "For there shall be sedition among men," sedition meaning, once again, uprising, "and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power." People are going to take actions into their own hands. It says, a man shall desire to go to a city and shall not be able, because it's going to be lockdowns and martial law. Why? Because of chaos, right? For because of their pride, the city shall be destroyed, the houses shall be destroyed. The city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, even men are going to be afraid, man. So how much more you women? Okay. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." and spoiled their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation, man. Right, for the lack of food, lack of bread, man. You're gonna see a lot of breaking and entering amongst your own community, man. You're also gonna have stragglers, okay, linking up together and traveling and traveling from community to community just to feed themselves, man. Okay, so this is what's coming, man. And when the prophets are set up to warn you to repent for the days coming. So I'm gonna close out. Lord, when it was edifying, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders, the great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Kwame Yashara Shalom.